She's back. This is the fourth time we have had her on the show. Welcome back, mai-kee.
Hello, my lovely, and hello to everyone who is at all familiar with me, because this is a record-breaking fourth return. Like both on like my end and Crystal's end, I believe. She's the only person who has been so gracious to ask me back 4 times in total. And I think I'm your 4th appearing guest. You know what I mean.
Right. But when this episode goes live, it's going to be just kind of into the new year. Mm-hmm. And I want to know, what are you most excited about in podcasting in 2022?
Ooh. I'm most excited to hopefully play a relative part in helping the podcasting community to be able to share their messages with intention and consideration for whoever is listening. And not to say that's not happening at all right now, it is, but I feel it's still in its embryonic stages, because podcasting in its entirety is still a baby in the grand scheme of things, right? And so Crystal, by you teaching like all of these folks to start their own podcasts and market them and launch them and all of the things, we are only at the very beginning stages where you can absolutely create and perpetuate some very, very informed practices with how we go about podcasting, whether it's when we are doing solo shows, when we're doing guest episodes or panels. There's a lot of conversations to navigate moving forward. No matter which niche you are in, you honestly never know who is listening to you. So just having some form of awareness and layers of consideration can be extremely helpful. So something I'm extremely excited to bring into the new year and moving forward, hopefully, depending on the response, is so this is how we actually wound up having conversation and DMs that led to this conversation as well here on the podcast for the 4th time. Is I want to create a workshop where I teach podcasters and interviewers, like summit hosts or people with Facebook groups who invite in guests, or people who do IG lives and they interview someone. I want to help podcasters and interviewers who are really committed to holding their guests in a more trauma-sensitive manner, so that they can really access those really rich insights and stories from a place of consent and agency from the guest. This is something that I personally have never seen. So I can't say it's the first of its kind. It might be. It's the first of its kind from who I know in the industry, which probably isn't a lot in the grand scheme of the world, but in the spaces that we share, Crystal, I think it's the first. And it's very much needed, and that's actually not my own words. It's any person who I've shared this with, they've told me this, they have visceral chills down their spine, or they're like, wow, no one teaches this, or like, this is so needed. And that's great confirmation. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna press forward then and see whether the market is ready for it, or who's ready enough for it, I should say, right now.
Yeah, this is awesome. And is this something that you're hoping to teach people who already have a podcast and they're already sharing a message on their platform, or are you trying to help people that are like brand new, just getting started?
So it's a bit of both. It's of course going to be the most helpful for people who already have a podcast or they're an interviewer of sorts. However, I do believe that there are a lot of people who want to start things right from the get-go, right? And right, I'm putting that in air quotes because that's all relative, right? Whatever right means. So I think there are people who, I know my own clients, for example, like a lot of them do want to start podcasts, but they won't until they have certain things like this in place, because that's how intentional they want to be. And so I think this can absolutely help people who have intentions of being interviewers in some shape or form, especially when it's around tender topics and sensitive stories.